Being grateful is the highest frequency vibration. And we always talk about everything is energy. So did you know that being grateful can help to shift and change your world and your life experience? Let's find out how we can do that. Let's go get that nugget. Welcome to Life Mastery Podcast. I'm Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind, your host, energy healer, and intuitive coach. This is where we learn to master our lives and ignite our spirit, one nugget at a time. Hey guys, it's Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Welcome to today's episode where I hope you are getting everything you want. If you're not getting everything you want, then it is my intention that in today's episode, I give you just one nugget of inspiration towards your transformation. I hope that in the last few episodes that you are beginning to transform. You're beginning to shift your inner energy and working at that energy field so you can begin aligning with the thing that you want to bring forward. We talked about in the last episode, the art of receiving in ways that we can align our energy with whatever our desire is. But we have to shift, we have to change, we have to transform. And I talked about, if I'm Lady of the Mind, working with our mind to create the life that we want and helping you to get that nugget of inspiration towards your transformation. Yesterday, or the last episode, was a nugget. It was a little something for you to practice. Well, today I'm going to give you a couple more practices, one more nugget to help you on your journey. So we also talked about yesterday if in having the intention, if you're not sure what you want, then at least know how you want to feel. And that's a good way to start. So I want you to go back in time and think of yourself as a little kid. And maybe you had parents like mine, and maybe you didn't, but when you were out and about at different environments and somebody gave you something that your parent would say, okay, Jennifer, they probably wouldn't call you Jennifer unless your name's Jennifer. Okay, Jennifer, say thank you. And I'd go, thank you. And then I'd walk away. Well, that became this repetitive, like this word to use to get what I wanted was to say thank you. I want to dissect that in two different ways. One is it becomes this repetitive thing that I use to get what I want. Please and thank you. That was my household. My grandma, my mom, everybody was like, okay, Jennifer, say thanks or say please. And so then when I want something, I'm like, please. And she's like, no, we can't afford it. So it kind of backfired. But I want to talk about it in one way where it's used in this kind of nonsensical way where we say the thing because we expect the thing to get there. And then the other is there are clues all around us that people say that they don't realize even why they say it, that is a energetic clue that should lead us to how we become or what we become. And no, I mean, how we become is the, what do I have to do inside to becoming, I always want to say this in a certain way and it makes more sense in my head, but is in the becoming of ourselves, we elevate ourselves. So it's in the becoming. You guys get it. Geez, must be too early. Anyway, okay, so there's two ways to look at that. There's that, but the first is that, say please, say thank you, and it just becomes this, if I say please and if I say thank you, I get what I want. But it becomes this kind of numbing word where then by the time those kids become teenagers and they're saying thank you, they're not really saying thank you. They're like these empty words. Do you know what I'm saying? If you have a teenager, raise your hand because you know what I mean. But on the other hand, I love dissecting and looking at a bigger picture and dissecting the words and the phrases that our parents and our grandparents and teachers used that really were little clues, little secrets to the universe and how the universe works. So when we receive something and someone says, okay, Jennifer, say thank you, that is them telling us that gratitude is in connection with receiving. And I'm going to touch on that in a moment. But as we look at words, just like, my mom, I would say, let's say I was studying for a spelling test. I'm like in third grade or something. I'm studying for a spelling test. And she would make flashcards and she would help and she would hold the word and, okay, spell, whatever, tomorrow. And I'd spell it and it's either right or wrong or whatever. And then now it's the next morning and she goes, how are you going to do on that test? I said, I'll probably fail. And she goes, well, with that attitude, you will. And then I think, That's a clue. That's another one that is a clue. What does that mean, Mom? Does she really know how energy works? Does she really understand that if I have the intention that I'm not going to pass, well, that I'm setting the intention that that test is not going to go well. And she somehow innately knows that if somebody has a bad attitude towards something they're going to experience, they're more likely to get that right, to get that intention. And I couldn't tell you the end of the story if I passed that test or not, but it was interesting when she would say something like that. So take some of those phrases, and those are the clues of the energy of the world in the universe, dropping those clues to us to go, there must be something there. So let's talk about the power of the word thank you. Now, years ago, I read the book called Power versus Force by David Hawkins. And in there, he's got a chart of consciousness, which is like the frequency of emotions. And I'm not going to dive deep into this, but I find this to be very relevant to today's topic, but also very interesting when we talk about energy and our frequencies that we emit. Now, this is all measurable. This can all be measurable. Your thoughts, your emotional state. And yes, in the last episode, The Art of Receiving, I talked about how the portal in your heart opens and you become this magnetic being drawing the thing towards you. That's what we want, right? That's the end game, is we want to get so good at that then you become this master manifester in your life. And all you do is you get your head and your heart together in agreement, coherence, right? You create this coherence. So on this chart, power versus force, it's such an interesting name. I don't even hardly think about it, but power versus force. I would much rather be empowered than forcing things to happen. And he talks about a lot of what force is. And force, when you're out in the world, you're exerting a lot of energy, but it's lower frequency. It's lower megahertz, if you will. And it is pushing matter, just like you learned in science. Matter is what appears to be that physical thing. I'm going to push matter around in order to get what I want. But it becomes exhausting. It's matter, you as matter, because you're a lower frequency, pushing matter around. It takes a long time. It doesn't work very well. It doesn't feel very good. It's kind of tiring or exhausting. Think of going to lose weight and you really are just not in alignment with going to the gym at 5:30 in the morning, but you're going to drag your butt there. How long does it take you? And how exhausting is it? And somewhere in your mind, you're like, I can't wait for this to be over. I can't wait for this to be done and go back to eating ice cream and pizza. And we usually give up, don't we? It's too hard. Well, it's too hard for a reason. We're supposed to find an easier way. When we elevate our energetic self, our energy being, and we do this through meditation, we do this through going inward, when we elevate ourselves, we become energy. And now we're energy influencing energy. So that seems a lot easier, doesn't it? Now, do you have to overcome a few things? Do you have to overcome some obstacles? Do you have to sit still a little bit longer? Do you have to overcome the body that wants to manipulate and force and control things? Yes, you do. You have to become a different person. You have to become the person who is healthy. You have to become the person who has the money or has the love of your life. You have to become. But in the world of avatars, like we're creating all these Bitmojis and emojis and these avatars on all our social media. And I'm like, this is life. Like this is universal intelligence pointing out to us how we become creative. And I love, I more than love this idea. I want to be in the driver's seat of my life. And getting in the driver's seat of my life, I have to become someone else. Okay. If I have to become someone else to own this multi-million-dollar business of personal development, helping people across the planet learn to become masters in their life, okay, I'm going to do it. That's the work I'm involved in. And I want you to be involved in it too. So when we talk about power versus force in this book, forcing is exhausting and it creates discord in the body. So in order to create this balance and harmony, I need to get my head and heart in agreement. And then I get in this elevated state of energy. And now I'm energy. When I'm meditating, I'm turning off the world. I'm not manipulating anything. I'm not out in my environment. I sometimes am not even in my physical body. I'm sitting there, I'm quiet, my eyes are quiet, my eyes are quiet, my eyes are closed, my ears are closed, I'm not paying attention to my environment, my body is calm, and I'm going inward, and I'm relishing in what I'm creating in my mind. Now, from that state, you're becoming energy, and you're thinking about, you can think about anything you want. You can stop right now, push pause, and you can think about an elephant, a monkey. You can think about sleeping in your bed. You can think about flying. You can think about bowling, baseball, anything you want. That's why we have our imagination. That's the key. That is the key that unlocks the car that you get to drive wherever you want, in whatever style you want. But we need to learn how to move up in our energy frequency. So over the past, 3 years, I've been talking about different vibrational frequencies as it relates to just the scale, the 0 to 10, is where are you in that scale? Where are you on a regular basis? And then what do you have to do to move up one number? That's kind of how this is. But let me tell you, gratitude is a higher frequency. It vibrates at 540 megahertz. Now, that's a lot. And that's probably the highest that we can get to and have this human experience. That goes all the way up to 1,000, and that's enlightenment. Probably, to be honest, you and I may never reach that state, but I'm telling you, I'm going to get as high as I can. That is the goal. That is my goal, is to get higher on this energy frequency scale, and to become energy that influences energy, because I want to play this game. I want to play this human experience. I'm going to leave my story in the past as many times as I can. I'm going to help myself to let go of that story. Stop telling that story. I don't like that story. That story is not something I want to keep experiencing. Stop telling that story. Start telling a new story. And we start by doing a gratitude practice. Now, I did say in the last episode, if you can't get all the way to gratitude, it's okay. You can't get all the way to gratitude. Maybe you can get to curiosity. So let's talk about these numbers just for a bit. I just find this to be so interesting. And you can totally go to Google and type in, what did I type in here? I typed in power versus force energy chart. That is one way you can do it. Okay. And then I just went to images and I found this image. If you are in a state of shame, you're vibrating at 20 megahertz. Shame is the lowest frequency. If you're vibrating at anger, if you're mostly angry, you're vibrating at 150 megahertz. When you start moving up to curiosity and openness, you move to 310. You're starting to just be a little bit up the scale. You're starting to feel a little bit open to possibility. Neutrality is 250. That's trust. That's moving up the scale. You are in the state of energy. Your body is moving up the frequency. How about love? When you first fall in love, you're at 500. Remember how good love feels when you first fall in love and you can't get enough of that person, or you get a puppy or a kitten, and you're walking into Disney for the first time, and you're like, this is like such a magical place. I don't even know what that even is. I had zero intentions of ever going to Disney in my life, and a couple years ago, we gave our boys a Christmas present, and we took them to Disney. And I just immediately walked in there and melted into a puddle, and I was just like a little kid again. And it was the craziest thing. So if you ever get a chance to go, go. Anyway, but when you're in love, it's 500. But you guys, gratitude is higher. It's 540. But it is not, like I said before, it is not that empty, numbing thank you. It is a state of joy. It's a state of receiving. This is how we bring in the thing that we want. Now, you're thinking, well, Jen, here's how this goes. If I am getting a present and it's in my hands, then I say thank you. And I go, yeah, if I get that. And then you're saying, well, but so you're telling me, Jen, that I'm supposed to be grateful for the thing that I don't have so I can get the thing that I do want by being grateful before it gets here. And I go, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Because you're going to open the portal. You're going to open the portal And gratitude is the key. Gratitude is the key. It's a higher frequency state. Now, like I said, if you can't get to gratitude, at least get to curiosity. So if you're sitting here going, she's full of crap, we're never going to get our thing, I don't know how it's going to come. And remember, you're not supposed to know this. You focus on the what and the why you want it. What is it that you want and why you want it, and leave the how and the when to the universe. It becomes kind of exciting. My goal is to just get into alignment with the thing. I can do that easily with my eyes closed. Now I'm going to practice with my eyes open. That's it. That's it, you guys. But it becomes a practice. Stop trying to understand it. The mind cannot understand what it is that we're talking about. The mind is anchored in the world, and it is very logical and rational. This kind of truth, this energetic truth, is neither logical nor rational. Because you're saying, I need to raise my vibration, though I'm living in this kind of environment that is not conducive to my health or my prosperity or fun, and you want me to be grateful for the things around me to bring in some change. And I go, yes, that's exactly it. Because you need to become magnetic. You need to become in alignment with the thing that you want. If you're a 6 and you're trying to bring in something that's a 10, you, my friend, have to bring yourself up the scale to be pretty darn close to a 10 in order to bring that thing in. And you're going to have to work up the scale. So if you want to see a picture of that, the book again is Power versus Force by David Hawkins. And it's an amazing book. It goes pretty deep in the energy realm, but there's a lot of little, little exercises to do in there. It's really, really an amazing book. Or just look up the frequency and you will see where gratitude is. It's synonymous with joy. 540, or you can go to Google and type in what's the frequency of gratitude, and you read a little bit about it, if you do that kind of thing. I do, so I'm the research queen. So let's talk about how we're going to begin a practice now. One of the very first things that Amy and I started, it was probably a little over probably a year ago or so now, is we do a check-in every day on a scale from 1 to 10, what's your check-in, with a couple little words like, oh, I'm a 3 because I didn't sleep really well last night, or because something happened, or, the dog got up in the night and puked on the floor, and so I'm really tired, so I'm a 3 today. And then the next is, what's my intention for today? And then the last thing, we do a grounding meditation, which I do have some on my podcast if you want to check that out. But the last thing we do is, after the grounding, is, what am I grateful for today? And there's a billion things that any one person could say about what you're grateful for. And I want you to begin that practice every single day. You can use our group. You can write in there. I'm going to start engaging in our group. I have so many things going on. I kind of keep forgetting to engage with you guys. But in our Lady Rising group, and for the record, there are a couple of guys in there. I think literally 2. But join that group, Facebook, Lady Rising. When you come in through the membership questions, just say you're coming in through the podcast. And when you come in, is, today I'm grateful for. Today I'm grateful for. And it could be literally anything. And then I want you to feel into the emotion of gratitude. What does it feel like? And begin to raise your own vibration. And like I said 12 times, if you can't get to gratitude, then try curiosity. Today I'm curious about. I'm curious how the day's going to go. I'm curious if I'm going to get my recordings done. I'm curious how traffic is going to be on the way to work. I'm curious how my kids will be when they get home from school. I'm curious what great conversations we'll have at dinner tonight, right? Anything to just help you move up the scale into the more energetic space. The next, and I love, love, love doing this. This is where I began my meditation practice. This was probably 10 years ago, is with mala beads. We sell mala beads at themeditationroomtc.com. Go into our website, go to the search, type in mala beads, and it's just a necklace. It's a necklace with different gemstone beads. Each one has 108 beads. And they're I want to say like invented in India. It's like 800 BC, like it's 1,000 years ago. And it's a wonderful practice to begin with when you're starting your meditation practice, because all of those obstacles that you have, that I mentioned a few in the last episode, is getting distracted, can't sit still, can't focus, don't know where to start, don't know what to do, fall asleep. All of those obstacles are literally wiped out with one solution, and that's a use of mala beads. I have videos in our Chakras for Beginners group. I believe there's one in the Lady Rising group. I'm not sure. But what you do is you take these mala beads and there's 108 beads, and you start at the beginning and you drape it over your middle finger, and each bead becomes something that you're thankful for. And I will guarantee you, I mean, it takes 10 minutes. So there's your, and that the other obstacle is I don't have enough time. It takes 10 minutes to do a round, and you just start, thank you for this. And you could just start with just thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's it. Words have energy frequency. So if I say, you know what I hate? The energy frequency of hate to me is like this block in my chest immediately, even if I just casually say it. And then I go, do you know what I like? It's a little bit lighter, right? It's got fluidity to it. But then I say, do you know what I love? I immediately can feel, I'm not even answering my own question, but I immediately feel like the splash of energy in my heart. That's the place we have to get to start practicing working with energy and how it feels in my body. In our house, somebody would be like, you know what I hate? They'll yell it from a different room. And I'm like, are you sure you want to finish that sentence? And we all laugh. And then it'd be Cameron or Amy or me even. And they're like, well, yeah, I know I do want to say it, but I won't spend much time on it. And then after that is like, okay, now tell me 3 things that you love, right? It's a fun way to start engaging with energy and understanding how our words affect our life. And if you want more information, go back to literally episode number 2, where I'm talking about setting intentions. If you mean business, set intentions. And number 3, where I talk about stop throwing dog poop. These are all the way back at the beginning, but they're different ways for us to understand our words. I want you to start saying thank you and receiving the thing. If you have $10 in your bank account, I want you to say thank you about the $10. If you have 1 can of soup in your cupboard, I want you to say thank you for that can of soup. When you place a meal in front of yourself, I want you to say thank you for this meal as it nourishes my body. When you get $1 from somebody or you find a penny on the ground, I want you to say thank you for this abundance and begin to shift your energy into a higher frequency state. Over time, you're going to find that your energy is shifting and things are changing in your world because you're changing. If you want things to change, you must change. I know it can be hard, but this is where we start with our mind and we start watching our words. We start thinking about what it is we want to create and begin creating it by aligning with the thing that we want. And we're going to do that by elevating ourselves with a gratitude practice. So another is, if you are a journaler, is to write things that you're thankful for every day. You can start in the morning. Thank you for this good night's sleep. Thank you for this comfortable bed. Thank you for these warm blankets. Thank you that it was a cool night to sleep. I slept good. Thank you for the water beside my bedside, that it's fresh, it's refreshing. Thank you for the vitamins that I take in the morning. Thank you that I have indoor plumbing. Thank you that I have carpet on the floor, right? Thank you that I have pets that wake me up in the morning. Thank you that my kids slept good. On and on it goes. And then at night, and you can write those things down, there's more power because there's the brain and then the musculature that goes into writing that solidifies that emotional state. And do the same thing at night. How was your day? What am I grateful for today? And it shifts your thinking. Then you're going to see more things that you're grateful for. And it moves you into a beautiful, coherent state. Now, my head and my heart become aligned. When I begin to want to manifest something, and I want to bring in $10,000 a month, that now in my meditation practice, I can start being thankful for that thing that's coming. Anything I can do to open my heart and magnetize that thing towards me. It becomes a really wonderful sensation. You become lighter. You feel like you're on top of the world. You feel like you can take on the world and create anything you want. And it just becomes this really wonderful state of being. And as you begin to elevate, this is where confidence comes in to go, you know what? I'm feeling better. I'm doing this practice. The first thing to change is energy, because it's energy working with energy. And as it changes, the first thing changes is your emotional state. Now I'm starting to feel better. I'm more patient. I'm more kind. I'm more loving. All of a sudden, I'm just happier. Like, who doesn't want that? Just to start with that part, I'm just happier. And then things start shifting in your world. Then you find a $20 bill on the ground. Then you get a bonus check from your boss. Then you get a raise. Then you get a job opportunity. Then you all of a sudden bump into a significant other that's just like this most beautiful being on the planet, and you guys hit it off in the grocery store while you're both buying grapefruit. It becomes amazing, and your life becomes amazing. So if my only advice to you today is to give yourself a chance. Give yourself a chance to try this type of work out. Start being energy that works with energy that influences energy, instead of forcing and coercing and pushing matter around. It becomes incoherent. Your head and heart are not in alignment. That's kinking the hose, and we are creating discord and disease. And I want to see you in the flow. I want to see you creating the life that you want to live. Hey, thanks for listening. Your support means the world to me, and I'm truly grateful to have you on this journey of personal growth and exploration. If you've ever felt motivated or uplifted or gained valuable insight from my podcast, you now have an opportunity to show your appreciation. If you'd like to buy me a coffee or a chai tea as a token of support, you can do so through the link in the podcast show notes. Remember, your support goes beyond just a chai tea. It fuels my passion and drive to continue growing with you, making the world a better place and elevating all of humanity one episode at a time. Thank you again for being a valued listener.